It's safe to say the Spider-Man 2 Platinum Trophy is all 19 inches of everything we've ever wanted. With Insomniac Games stopping the segregation between black and normal people, and finally being able to play as both Peter and Miles in the same game, this is a Platinum Trophy every PS5 owner should go for. So without further ado, take a ride on my 19 inches of trophy hunting goodness. The story starts with an opening cutscene of Norman infecting Harry with his 19 inches of... We then get to see Peter and Miles for the first time. Miles notices a sandstorm in New York City, and him being the only one that's not retarded, Miles and Peter leaves the students to fucking die, because at this point their unaware asses have dug their own graves. Now I have to admit, I forgot to record for the first hour of this game, but thank God for people that uploaded all the cutscenes and PlayStation's trophy clipping feature, because now I can steal others' content and pretend it's mine. After spending a few minutes on the Sandman fight, we finally defeat him and see Sandman in his human form. After watching the Sigma come inside of him and getting a little word of warning, we got to watch a cutscene featuring Kraven for the first time. And with that, the intro was done and we popped our first trophy. Jumping back into New York City, we did a bunch of boring tasks because no one else had superpowers and we were superior to everyone else, and even got a trophy for failing a trick, which I totally did on purpose. Oh, and I also equipped a new suit for another trophy. With all that out of the way, we do this extremely boring mission where we talk to MJ and look at photos of kids. Harry then shows up at our front door and asks to go on a bike ride. We accept and bike over to our old high school. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the gayest mission in the game, right next to Brooklyn Visions. I'm convinced missions like this are specifically designed to waste your time, and I absolutely hate them. Anyways, we got that shit-ass mission done, and we're now back in the modern day, making sure some villains get transported safely. But little did we know, we were gonna get attacked by an entire squadron of Kraven hunters. After a bit of fighting, the ship we were on was about to sink, and our objective was to save the people inside. But we got absolutely masturbated by Scorpion, and we accidentally set him free. Not only that, we also missed our chance to turn Lee into nothing but a chink in a bin. But of course he escaped, and we caused roughly $1 million in damages. You know, normal Spider-Man stuff. Hey, check it out, I'm using my own recordings now, and we're visiting Harry's new science foundation as Peter or whatever. Honestly, fuck this part of the game. All you do is walk around and yap for about 30 minutes straight, but Peter gets a job, so I guess that's cool. During this little stealth segment as Miles, I managed to get a trophy for getting 25 stealth takedowns on a web line. But of course my unstealthy ass got detected, so we knocked out all the remaining guards and got to see Black Cat for the first time. And wow. Just... wow. Anyways, using Black Cat's magic dildo, she led a really cool chase sequence with portals and whatnot before we finally caught up to her. She said she needs her stick of truth to teleport to Paris and save her girlfriend from someone. Before Miles could make a decision though, we were attacked by Kraven's hunters. Long story short, we let her fuck off to Paris, and we then got introduced to this Mysterio side collectible thing, where you have to channel your inner black teen and hit the notes on this DJ booth. Eventually I'm gonna have to do all of these unfortunately, but we'll cross that path when we come to it. The next mission was just filler, where we went to a carnival and played games before it all went wrong and witnessed Harry use the 19 inches he was always bragging about. Anyways, the next mission had us trying to set Tombstone free from the grip of Kraven, because in Spider-Man 2 he actually turned his life around for the better. After Harry and I pressed our cheeks together and collabed on some hunter penis, we got Tombstone out safely. We then get to do a mission playing as MJ, and I'm not gonna lie, I cannot believe Insomniac is still making missions like this. I don't think anyone buys a Spider-Man game wanting to play as MJ's uncanny valley looking ass. But anyways, Peter gets fucking stabbed, but we end up surviving because the Venom came inside me, and we even got our 5th trophy. Unfortunately, that was all the fun we were allowed to have for a while, because we had to infiltrate a hunter party disguised as a waiter. After sneaking by everyone in the party, I met Kraven's pet tiger, Dima. We put Dima to sleep and found what we needed, but just as we were leaving, we got caught and fought our way to the outdoors, where we had a mini boss fight against a brute. We then had the totally original never seen before fight that takes place on top of a church. Just like in Spider-Man 3, Venom's biggest weakness is loud noises. So Kraven uses the nearby ghetto black girl to create a noise so unbelievably high in decibel that Peter starts absolutely tweaking and immediately left the building. After that altercation, we decided to search for Dr. Connor since Kraven turned him into a literal dinosaur earlier. We ended up finding his secret lab and found out he tried testing his blood, but the lizard brain got the best of him and he broke out of his lab like the special ed student breaks out of a classroom. Switching over to Miles, me and Drone Genki were gonna search for the lizard. We did end up finding him, which led us into one of my favorite missions in the game. You basically just swing over the water, hijack jet skis, and run away from the lizard. 10 out of 10 sequence in my opinion. After all of that, we finally started the lizard boss fight. The fight was cool, I guess, but I was starting to get really sick of it because after 2 phases in a chase sequence, we had to fight his scaly ass yet again. But we finally managed to stick our fists where the sun don't shine and pop a trophy. After a long day of boss fights with far too many phases, Peter decides to get some well-deserved shut-eye. Unfortunately for us though, that meant another MJ mission. As boring as these are, this didn't compare to what I was gonna have to deal with later on. Anyways, switching to Miles, we were now on yet another boss fight with Mr. Negative. Honestly, this boss wasn't too difficult, and instead of turning Lee's slant eyes into straight divots, we decided to rescue him from the arena we were captured in, because friendship is important or something, and popped my 7th trophy. After a little while, Peter and Miles have an epic fight where Peter actually ends up ripping the Venom off because it was corrupting his mind. I also got a trophy after that. Fortunately for me, but not so much New York, Harry gets the Venom back and is now an absolutely juiced up version of his old self. I have to say, playing as Venom was my absolute favorite part of Spider-Man 2. Absolutely pile driving through tons of enemies and rampaging through New York was genuinely the coolest part of the entire game in my opinion. We then had a super unfair fight against Kraven, and let's just say he gave the term giving head a whole new meaning. We also got a trophy right after the cutscene was over. A few minutes later, Harry actually turns MJ into the most annoying boss fight in the entire game. The amount of times I died and heard the same voice lines over and over is enough to turn anyone into a paranoid schizophrenic. But I did eventually defeat her and got trophy number 10 for it. So we actually find out Peter still has a little bit of Venom left inside of him from earlier, so Lee and Miles head into Peter's mind to get rid of the remaining symbiote. This led to us getting a trophy for pulling in 6 enemies or more with reflux. After destroying the hive mind in Peter's brain, he gets this really cool anti-venom suit which gives you a bunch of new abilities. I even got a trophy for using my Venom bomb. At this point, we were about to be done with the story. I'm not gonna lie, for the most part I've actually been enjoying the story of this game, but Miles absolutely ruined it for me when he pulled up in this stupid ass outfit. To the person at Insomniac who decided this would be a good suit to end the story with, count your days. Anyways, as I'm sure most of you know by now, the game ends with the boss fight with Venom, which was honestly child's play compared to that MJ boss fight. We then watched all the final cutscenes, insert happy ending here, blah blah blah, and we were now finally done with the story, popping us the Heal the World trophy. It's finally time for the long-awaited cleanup phase of this platinum. The first trophy I decided to go for after the story was a new adventure. In this side quest, you pretty much find a new home for this homeless man's pigeons. Unfortunately, Mr. Homeless Howard fucking dies, but at least it wasn't in vain because it gave us the trophy we were going for. In my next hour of gameplay, I managed to snag 3 trophies. One for clearing every hunter base, one for doing the side quest line as Miles, and one for completing every photo shoot in New York. The next trophy we were going to go for was Exterminator. In order to get this trophy, we were going to have to destroy all the symbiote nests in New York. For these collectibles, I personally recommend switching to the easiest difficulty, as the Venom enemies are super tanky, and you're honestly just better off doing the cleanup phase on a low difficulty. The next trophy questline we had to do involved us taming a hunter beast and giving it to this blind lady as a pet dog. We pretty much played fetch with it and got dragged around the neighborhood before finally bringing it to the blind lady for our trophy. Next up was Data Collector for grabbing all of the hunter drone collectibles. I really wasn't a fan of these because they were honestly just filler and you kind of just had to fly around for 2 minutes before you could actually get the collectible, so that's a 0 out of 10 for me. Thankfully though, the next collectible I was going for was the Sandman crystals. These were extremely straightforward since the sand people were kind of just one-shots, and we could easily collect all of them for another trophy. We then finished the Mysterio side quest line for another trophy, but unfortunately I lost all the footage to this one, so the screenshot will have to do. Also, for some reason my PlayStation didn't clip or screenshot a trophy I supposedly unlocked at the same time as the Mysterio one, but I got the resourceful trophy as well. Using the tech parts I've gathered from all these gay-ass side activities, I purchased every gadget upgrade for a trophy. I then completed all EMF experiments 10 minutes later. I just want to put this out there. The EMF experiments are the worst collectible I've ever seen in a Spider-Man video game. When I was doing these collectibles, I was genuinely beginning to wonder who paid Insomniac to put these go green or go home looking ass side quests into the game. But I guess I'll let it slide because I actually like the suit you get, and you obviously get a trophy as well. We then got a super easy trophy for performing 30 air tricks without touching the ground, and purchased all the suit tech upgrades as well. Unfortunately, the next trophy I decided to go for was Brooklyn Visions. For this trophy, you have to help some gay kids save their prom or some shit. And to make it even worse, the outfit you get is absolutely trash! Whilst I was working on a different side quest for a trophy, I actually hit max level for the amazing trophy. If I'm being honest, I wasn't paying attention the slightest to the side quest I was doing, but I'm sure it was better than Brooklyn Visions. I then had a nice little trophy streak where I purchased all suits, 100% completed all districts, and found all the spider bots, which played us a kind of cool cutscene. At this point, we're in the final stretch and only have a few more trophies left to unlock. So we ran a home run at this ball stadium, glided from the financial district to Astoria without stopping, found Miles and Finn's old science project, defeated 100 enemies with Miles' new blue Venom powers, and completed all of the Prowler tech satches for a few more trophies. The last trophies I needed were probably the only ones you could consider grindy in Spider-Man 2. I pretty much just had to go around doing crimes in New York to farm the trophy for using symbiote abilities 25 times, and defeating 100 enemies using spider arm abilities. And with that, we head over to Aunt May's grave for a cinematic finish to the Platinum Trophy.
Parker Luck's back with a vengeance.
Also, if you made it this far, you may as well subscribe to see me platinum more games in the future. See you later, cum connoisseurs. Mwah.